Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Cole. It's Saturday night, August 5th. Now entering week 6 of Humanities 2333, Philosophy of Life, on the second 7-week schedule for the summer 2023 term. Okay, everybody, many of you will be seeing this on Sunday. Monday and Tuesday we'll be running discussion number 4 on artificial intelligence and ethics. I hope that will give you some interesting food for thought. Don't forget, a week from Monday the 14th, your second written assignment will be due. And once again, I hope this will be something that will be challenging for you, give you something to think about. It's not something you can really research, but rather it's asking you to reflect based upon what you've been exposed to this term. What would you have said to the philosopher George Yancey as a little child, and when he posed that question to his mother? Maybe not the first child who's ever done such a thing, but the little child George Yancey hit upon something problematic about human life, and it's useful, I suppose, to think about how we might respond to that. So that's what you're asked to do in a brief essay, due Monday the 14th. And once that due date has passed, a couple of days after that, we'll have our last discussion of the term, the middle of that week, and then the 19th and 20th is what we've got scheduled on the syllabus for the final exam. Okay, so that's what's coming up now to the end of the term. This week on the syllabus, we've got class notes for units numbers 13 and 14. In Unit 14, you are asked to look at Kantian ethics, the ethical views of the philosopher Immanuel Kant. And his views often are described as non-consequentialist, or another technical term for that is deontological. You'll see all those terms in the class notes. Well, Kant believes that you have an obligation to be ethical, we might say, the consequences be damned. That maybe over-dramatizes it a little bit. I would say it's not that consequences aren't irrelevant or that you shouldn't consider them, but you have an obligation, what Kant calls a categorical or absolute obligation, to be ethical, to do the right thing, without first stopping to calculate whether that's going to pay for you. Okay, so see what you think of that. Kant believed that the ethical obligation was so categorical. For instance, you had an obligation to tell the truth, even to a would-be murderer who's looking for a close friend or family member of yours. You are obligated not to lie if you're harboring that person in your residence. You have to tell the truth. Now, that raised a lot of eyebrows, and one caught some criticism from the great 19th century German philosopher Hegel. So look and see what you think, among other things, in the class notes of Hegel's criticism of the ethical approach of Kant. Then in the notes for Unit 13, we look at the issue of life decisions, important crossroads you may reach in your life. What can philosophy bring to bear about that? Well, I've drawn upon the work of a philosopher who was a teacher of mine decades and decades ago, Thomas Herka, and his book, The Best Things in Life. I think it connects up with Aristotelian virtue ethics. There are certain intrinsically good things you could pursue, and perhaps you would try to pursue more than one of them in some proportion or another. But in making life decisions, maybe it's a wise thing to stop and take a moment to think about how much you value knowledge relative to achievement, to moral virtue, or to love and friendship, among the different intrinsically good things that Professor Herka discusses. And I've tried to summarize his thinking on this in our class notes for Lecture 13. So Lecture 13, Unit 13, is meant to cover life decisions, and we go into the Kantian approach to ethics in the class notes for Unit 14. So discussion Monday and Tuesday, and 1 week after that, the second written assignment is due. Then there'll be one more discussion in the final exam to wind up this 7-week term. Some students have not turned in the first written assignment. Some have not taken the final. There may be one or two who I don't have a grade for either one of those. You might want to see about that. You need to be sure I have a grade for you for at least one of those in order to get through the course successfully. And I will double check my records and try to get communications out to those who are missing those grades. Because the more of those grades you have, the better a chance you have. You are entitled to drop one 100-point grade. All right then, that will do it for week 6. We'll be talking to you at least one more time a week from now at this time. In the meantime, we hope you'll take part in the discussion Monday and Tuesday and get to work on that second written assignment for the 14th. And we'll talk to you again about a week from now at this time. Take it easy.